Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of ISS EDtalks. We've got a very exciting conversation planned for you today. One of the largest initiatives that the Iredell Statesville Schools has worked on over the past few years is our impact grant. This is a $20 million federal grant through the Race to the Top initiative, and it has revolutionized our classrooms and had a huge impact on all of our middle and high schools throughout the school system. With me today is Mr. Phil Hardin, who is our Executive Director of the Impact Grant. Phil, welcome this morning. We're so glad you could be here.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Well, I know that you've been on board now about a year with us and came to us from actually retirement in Rowan, Salisbury, where you had a very distinguished career in the area of digital conversion. And so we're very excited to see the work that you're leading here in our district, and we hope you've enjoyed your first year with us here.
It's a great district to work in. The project, of course, has significant impact on student instruction, so it's been a great time.
Let's give a little bit of history about the grant. As I said earlier, this was a federal Race to the Top competitive grant, and the Iredell Statesville Schools was one of 17 recipients nationwide that received this. A lot of people mistakenly think that it's a technology grant, but actually the grant was written around the idea of personalizing and customizing instruction for individual student needs. And we call that a blended learning model. I wonder if you could talk to the audience a little bit about what is blended learning?
Sure. Blended learning is where you have options for students. The basic premise is that you are personalizing instruction for those students, where students have a choice in terms of how fast they learn the curriculum, how they demonstrate the mastery of their curriculum, what types of materials and resources they use to learn that curriculum. In other words, they have a say-so in how they learn and how they demonstrate mastery. The premise also looks at being able to meet the needs of individual students. What we know is all students do not learn the same way. They're not able to demonstrate their mastery, for example, through a paper and pencil test. Students are able to create projects that show they truly understand and have a deep understanding in the curriculum. The other thing we know about personalized learning is that because there is different in pace through that instruction, that students can take the time they need to truly understand that curriculum and the instruction that's going on. Or for students who grasp it very quickly, then they can move forward. It's very similar to competency-based instruction, so that you're looking at students actually demonstrating mastery of the content as opposed to just seat time, where everybody sits and gets the same thing. Go back to the old teacher on the sage on the stage, so to speak. So teachers actually become a guide in their classroom, guiding students, having conversations with them so that instruction is truly personalized.
And you know, if I were a parent or a student and I'm hearing this conversation, it sounds exciting that students are actually empowered to guide some of their own direction in learning. When I taught in the classroom, I won't say I was the sage on the stage, but it was the old lecture method, and you know, I had 28 or 30 students, and I kind of shot for the middle, and probably some of my brighter students got a little bored, and some of my slower students got left behind. But what blended learning is trying to do is to address the needs of each individual student based on what their strengths and weaknesses are.
Absolutely. And of course, the teachers use a lot of data so that they truly understand what their students are mastering and how fast they're mastering that curriculum, so that they can create resources. Our new learning management system, Canvas, just recently got in place, and we're seeing great things in the classroom with our teachers using it to actually personalize instruction. I was at Mount Morn yesterday and saw a science teacher who has customized her science lessons so that students can take an individual assessment to get data that shows her where those students are, but also the students have the ability to create their learning path based on how well they felt in terms of what they did on the curriculum. For example, they may have scored at a level that says, okay, I understand the curriculum and I can move to the next level, but internally, they just didn't feel that they knew that curriculum as sound as they wanted to. So she had a pathway for those students so they could go back and work with hands-on manipulatives in science and create molecules and balance equations. And so you're seeing students create all types of projects that truly meet their learning needs now. It's really an exciting time in the classrooms.
It really takes away the barrier of time also. I heard a teacher the other day talking about she had recorded several of her lectures and posted them online now. So rather than her standing in front of the entire class and delivering the curriculum in one lecture, it's now posted online. Kids can watch it or re-watch it, or if they get busy, they can watch it on the weekend. So it really makes learning anywhere, anytime available to the students.
Absolutely, and now we also see students helping create some of those videos. So it's not just a teacher that's creating them, but students are also creating. I saw a number of the videos that had been created yesterday in one of the schools, and the students are actually going through, based on a rubric, looking at the contents of the videos, rating those, and then those videos are used for helping other students master learning, but also to go back and reinforce their own learning.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, all of this is supported with technology. And the technology that we have chosen in our school system is the MacBook Air. I was really impressed with the selection process that the team used when it came to making that decision. There was a lot of thought put into that. We included students and parents and teachers and pulled together focus groups, had vendors come in, give demonstrations of the various devices. And so we let the users make the decision on which device to go with. But the MacBook Air is a powerful tool. Talk to us just a little bit about some of the features there. And you mentioned Canvas a little bit ago. Could you explain to our audience what Canvas is and how that came into being this school year?
Sure. So all of our students, grades 6 through 12, have the MacBook Air. And it is a powerful learning tool. Unlike some platforms where you can only use the device when you're connected to the internet, that particular piece of hardware comes with applications on it that students can utilize whether they're connected to the internet or not, because we do know that sometimes, in some instances, internet connectivity is not available. So you don't want a device where a student can't use it if that's not available. So we have a number of programs that don't cost any additional monies that are preloaded on the MacBook Air. And most of those products support the blended learning project very well because they're creation applications. So students are able to create products that actually demonstrate their mastery. Those can be keynotes, they can be publishing documents, some are movies. A lot of creativity in the movies where students are able to use green screens and that sort of thing to demonstrate their mastery and understanding of the content. Canvas is our learning management system, just came in place the beginning of this school year. And what that does is actually helps teachers organize their content into classes that makes it available online. It contains an assessment component in it. It contains a calendar in it so students are better organized and understand what's going on. But it also contains a parent portal. So parents can log on and see what's going on with their students and get information, what assignments are due, how well the student's doing on those assignments. It's really the block that we needed to move the blended learning process forward.
That's excellent. Now, I know the grant paid for an extra position at each of the middle and high schools participating in this project, and those folks are called blended learning coaches. They are grant funded, and as the grant starts to wind down and expire, our plan, of course, is to blend that position together with our instructional facilitators. But tell us about the work of the blended learning coach and what those folks have been doing in our schools.
So the blended learning coach is truly an essential position for this grant, but it's also an essential position for personalizing learning for students and helping teachers feel more comfortable using the devices in their classroom and coming up with resources and understanding how to integrate that technology into teaching. Because as you said earlier, the whole grant process is not a technology project. It's truly a change in teaching. It's a pedagogy project. It's a whole different way of looking at teaching and learning in the classroom. And so we have teachers at all different levels in our schools. We have some that truly adapt the use of technology very quickly because they have been using it. They have an understanding of where to get resources and help and that sort of thing. But we also have teachers who have traditionally lectured. So this whole paradigm shift of individualizing student instruction is new to them. So they need someone to help model, someone to come into the classroom to work with them, someone to give them some ideas, and so that they feel like it's a safe environment when they start using the technology with their students. And our coaches fill that role. I would say probably the most significant role that we have in our grant is our coaches in our schools working with the teachers, because without those, the grant project would not be successful and move forward as quickly as it has been, because you don't have those folks providing that support there.
Yeah, it was an essential position that just kind of got the inertia of this movement started for us, and was available to teachers and students to help them understand what we were trying to do and to coach them at every step of the process. What are some of the hurdles that you have encountered in this endeavor, and what are some of the solutions that you came up with, some of the big problems that you encountered?
So you always, because you have a device, there are technical issues. So every day, we're trying to work through the process of addressing those technical issues, training teachers, giving them some basic steps if things happen so that they can try and troubleshoot those. Students as well, tips to students so that, if they have an issue with their MacBook Air connectivity, here's some basic steps to do before you have to put in a work order and that sort of thing. The other course is simple, how do you teach with a device, and giving teachers some content management as well as technical management of devices, tips and tricks. Again, our coaches play a big role in the professional development. They're offering our teachers on how to do that. But the other thing is, of course, it is a new project. So it's not a sprint. It's truly a marathon. So we take baby steps along the way and move the project along. And I think because it has been very calculated the way the project has rolled out, we've been able to see the success that we've seen.
And this is your second endeavor in the world of changing the classroom. Of course, your first career over in Rowan, Salisbury, where they did a digital conversion that was quite successful now here in our district. Look into your crystal ball. What does the future look like for education, maybe even K-12, as you think about digital learning and the use of technology to enhance learning? What will the classroom look like in 10 or 15 years?
So I think the way the entire classroom is laid out is going to change dramatically. And I dare say that we're seeing schools that are being built look very different from the schools that exist today in terms of the furniture that's in the schools, the structure of the schools. It's becoming more learning environments rather than very rigid classrooms. And one thing I saw, again, as I was visiting schools just recently, students learn everywhere. So you had students from one class that were in all types of different learning areas of that school working in groups. And I think it's real important that we realize today it's very important for students to understand how to work with other people and be able to get those 21st century skills. And I think the layout of the school is going to change to help foster that type of learning environment where students work together more on projects. And you have areas where they can work on huge projects, more hands-on activities, more technology, of course. And the old view of classrooms with straight rows of desks, I think, are going probably by the wayside as we move forward to more tables and centers and open areas. That tends to foster that ability of students to work in a collaborative environment more.
I know when I visit schools now, I see kids, middle school and high school particularly, sitting in hallways, gathered around a circular table, maybe in the media center or something. They've got these devices out. They're working independently. They're working in small groups. You even see them at lunchtime. And it really is changing the concept of learning can only take place between the hours of 10 and 11 in this classroom. Learning is taking place 24 hours a day, multiple locations, so it's really revolutionizing the time and space aspect of learning.
It truly is. And it used to be the only source of knowledge was from a teacher in a classroom. And of course now moving to the blended learning approach, which does have a technology component with the online piece, students are able to reach out not only with their teacher after school, but also with their colleagues there in the classroom. And they work collaboratively on projects. And you know, in the old days, you physically had to go to someone's house and meet up, right. And it depended on transportation and all of those sort of things now. But you can have 12, 15 students working collaboratively in individual homes and right. Sharing ideas and that sort of thing. And then reaching out to content experts. You know, you can work with a NASA scientist without ever leaving, you know, your house or your classroom or whatever, and get that information brought back to you.
Yes, I recently in one of our high schools saw a young man who was working on a U.S. history project, and part of the assignment was he had to click on videos and watch scenes of battles from movies and things of that nature. And another assignment, he had to click on and watch a speech by one of the presidents about a particular aspect of the war. So it's really shrinking time and space and just making the world literally available to these kids on their time.
It truly is. I mean, the world is really a student's fingertips. It's a matter of connecting their device and right there it is in front of them. And they're able to ask those expert questions and get feedback. You know, immediately the old World Book Encyclopedia used to be the main source of that type of information. But now, you know, a quick email or a quick chat and they're able to connect with wonderful experts around the world, not just in the United States.
Yeah, you know, this work is going to force us to take a look at media centers as well. And the old days of going in and your books are on the shelf and the rows and rows of encyclopedias, that's changing as well.
Absolutely, and some school districts are already renovating their media centers to make them more learning centers and project-oriented centers as opposed to, you know, the shelved books.
Yeah. It's almost a museum, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, this has really been one of the most exciting projects that we've undertaken in our school system, certainly in my career. And we are very, very grateful to have you. You brought a lot of knowledge to our district, a lot of enthusiasm. The project is going very, very well and is exceeding all expectations. And we're very grateful for you and your staff members that have launched this project for us, and we wish you much success in the time remaining here, and we just feel like we're on the right pathway. Thank you for being here today, and we appreciate all the hard work.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been great working here. Again, it's a fantastic project.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. Well, thank you for watching today. We are very excited about our blended learning initiative. It truly is revolutionizing classrooms and helping students remove the barriers of time and space and personalizing and customizing instruction to the individual needs of students. You can visit our website and find more information about blended learning, or even better, call one of our principals and set up a tour and go in and see firsthand what blended learning looks like in the Iredell Statesville schools. Thank you for watching.